Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. What is going on, Chip? Over here someplace. We have got an amazing show tonight. We have two great guests, one great project. That project is CasinoCoin. The two guests, we've got Daniel and Jack. We're going to get into this thing. We want you guys to throw out all the questions that you have regarding CasinoCoin. If you don't know CasinoCoin, you're going to know all about it before tonight is up. So with that, Chip,
like several hours from now, Jeff. Okay, let's do it. Let's go.
Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
And without further ado, let's bring in Jeff. Can you do a drum roll for me? Where are our sound effects when we need them? Go ahead.
Sound effects. Ready?
First of all, yes, go ahead. Do it. That's weird. Now I don't hear it. I heard it last time. But anyway, we got Daniel. Daniel, what's going on? We have Jack. What is going on, gentlemen? How are you guys doing?
I'm so excited.
And we're on two different continents tonight. We're on two different continents. We have Jack from Vegas, and we have Daniel coming in from Germany, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, sadly still Germany. But that's going to change soon, so heads down for that.
Soon to the
last time I spoke to you.
Yeah, that was in July.
Yeah, we had a conversation back in July when we had most of the stuff already submitted. Just took way longer than expected to get everything done. Had to do a lot of translations. Had to explain a lot of things. But I think I sent a tweet of the application clearance like 3 weeks ago. So we now can go back and forth. About to pick a date for this month to go over, check out the place, do a couple of things, and then not sure about December because there's Christmas and then New Year, so the family probably wants to spend some time with us for the last time, allegedly. So we should be in full moving mode in January. My wife is freaking out because we're sitting on the boxes for like a month now. The house is a mess and everyone's freaking out.
Like, what box did I put that in? By the way, see, Matt Hamilton jumped in with
drum roll.
He dropped in with a drum roll. We used to have a drum roll. Drum roll's not working anymore. Well, that's good to hear, Daniel. So the plan is coming together. The plan is coming together. It's good. And Jack, how are you adjusting out to Vegas there?
It took about 2 months to be comfortable here, but I mean, it's just been working the entire time, so it's not really a big deal. It's like, it doesn't really matter where I am at the current moment, but it does allow me to go to networking events here, which is a lot different than where I was in Michigan. It was a little bit harder to work in Michigan, but it's easier here, and I'm planning on some networking events that I can't really talk about yet. So
okay, so we understand that there's. Go ahead, Jeff.
No, I was going to say, interesting connection back to Michigan. What part of Michigan?
It was the west side.
City? You want to give a city, or are you being elusive?
Just a little bit north of Grand Rapids.
Okay. Yeah, Jeff and I have a connection. I lived in Michigan for a little bit too. So did Jeff. So
I did as well.
Not at the same time.
Metro Detroit area.
It's a nice state in the summer. I'm not really a big fan of the winter, so it's nice to be here, and it's still 80 degrees. Not having any issues.
Yeah,
can we give numbers in the system the rest of the world uses, like the metric system, which actually makes
We'd love to, but we didn't grow up on it, so you're not going to get that from us. Not the Americanos are not really trained in it.
I need to Google how much that is.
No, I'm good with measurement though. I'm good with centimeters and millimeters, and because that's how I like to measure. I cannot stand measuring that, and engineering is done in that. So for some reason,
26 degrees.
Temperature is tough.
Yeah. So there we go. So guys, let's jump into some questions about the project. So just kind of, again, we got to assume this. So there's some people here. We always have new people floating in, but either Daniel or Jack, you want to give an overview, just kind of quick overview. What is CasinoCoin? What is the purpose behind the token itself, and what are you guys trying to achieve out there?
I mean, I did this last time, so I say let's have our great head of marketing operations do this.
All right, Jack, passing the ball to you.
And I've said this before, but CasinoCoin has a symbiotic relationship with the casinos, us, and the community, where they'll be able to get larger bonuses for going to the casinos, and they'll also be consolidated in one place. So with the KYC checks, it means that it's super fast. being that it's on XRP. So if you want to go to one casino, you go there, you play out your bonus, or if you like it, you keep playing afterwards and possibly get more. And then you can instantly withdraw your money and go to a different casino if you want to and play with their bonus. And that's pretty much what it is. I mean, it's sort of simple in that aspect, but it's also very difficult from our aspect because we have to do the coding on everything. So
You guys have to build it out, right? And
Yep.
and so too, you guys, it was very recent. This project's been around for a little bit, but you guys recently decided to come back to the XRPL to build, right?
Yeah,
And-
so we did run our own fork for like 3 years. That was a strategic decision back at the time, but in the meantime, so much stuff changed on the XRPL, especially in stuff we needed for the KYC thingy, let's call it that way. And when we were thinking about how to move on in the future, we had some great conversations with Wietse and other people and the XRPL Foundation. So it actually was a no-brainer to switch to the XRPL because that's something we know pretty well. So it was a better decision than going to BSC or the Ethereum chain, let alone transaction speed and transaction costs. Right, that's a different ballgame. So the XRPL is growing quite nice. We might be guilty a bit of kicking off the token craze. I would assume that's that what you could say. We see a lot of new projects coming over. Trustline spamming is a current problem on the chain, but I would say it's a nice problem to have. So the ledger can grow with this influx.
Got it.
So if I look at your roadmap, it looks like the one thing that you've accomplished, moving to the XRPL. When did you guys move over officially to the XRPL? At what point was that?
I will need to check the exact issuance date. The swap went live on the 20th of April, 21. I think the token has been live a month prior to that, but I would need to check that, to be honest.
Yeah, so
I don't
pretty
have
recent.
that. Yeah, I don't have that in mind. So it happened in 21, so earlier this year.
Yeah. So I find it's interesting, and just to kind of as a side note, you guys know, our great SEC chairman. We like to talk about him. He does a lot of great things in the crypto space, Gary Gensler. But one of the things that he had said was that stable coins are kind of like poker chips, and here you guys are, building CasinoCoin that could be considered poker chips. Is there any,
But not stable coins.
but not stable coins?
Well, so the question always is, what is a stable coin, right? And we have this conversation around Tether and other coins, but let's take Tether. And there's always the question, I personally would consider a coin being stable, assuming you issue 10 coins, you peg it 1-to-1, which means you have $10 in the bank. And that's an ongoing question, right? And there are people that doubt that Tether has $10 in the bank. Let's put it that way. Issuing a stable coin as an entity will always require you have the collateral, or however you want to call it, in the bank. And I think most issuers don't have that. So in our case, having let's say we would like to peg the coin at 1 cent, we would require the equivalent money in a bank account, which is from a startup perspective ridiculous, right? That just doesn't work. In regards to the SEC case, I don't really want to comment on that. It's crazy what's going on. It will probably take some time to get this sorted, but I have no doubts about how this will turn out.
Yeah. So good or you want to say positive or negative? You want to comment on that? Like what your thoughts are?
Will be positive.
Yeah.
Right. Unless, that this is the only logical conclusion.
I kind of agree with that. Jack, you in concert with that as well, as far as thinking we're going to get at least somewhat of a positive outcome when this thing sort of.
I think so. I think it has big implications for all of crypto that people aren't really realizing right now, but hopefully there is a good outcome to it and we all move along from it.
Yeah, really good. And
but otherwise, don't really have too much of a comment on it myself because it's not really something that I'm into. So,
gotcha. Yeah, two guys too busy focused on what you're doing day to day. There was a comment in the pre-chat that started before we even got going here, but this is from JW Morissette asking, on the new website, it clearly states and advised not to buy CSC as an investment, but to gamble with. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, targeting a global market, it's a statement we need to make just to be on the safe side, right? And people always like to refer to themselves as investors, right? An investor is someone who's giving money to a company in hopes of future returns. We didn't get your money, right? We don't advise you to buy this because you're chasing the next Bitcoin. It's an utility token,
right?
Right. There's only so much we can do and tell people about how to do this, and there is so much we have to do to be on the safe side because no one wants to get in trouble. We got legal opinions from several law firms around the globe, and specific markets advised us to put this on, and that's why we put it on, and that's how we see it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it really kind of makes sense, right? Because you're going to put stuff on your website. And again, it does have utility. I mean, the utility is about what Jack outlined a little bit before, which is to using casinos, right? Thus the name CasinoCoin. It has a real utility, and in leveraging the speed of the XRPL makes an incredible amount of sense. And, Jeff and I both have lemon trees, and it appears that, Jack has a Vegas lemon tree that looks a little bit different. Looks a little bit like if you're listening to the podcast.
There's no water here, so it's a fake one.
It's a fake one, but it looks cool.
We have to outsource our water.
That's why he's never showering.
That's from CSC fan. That was a good one as well. Yeah, it was pretty well. And if you guys want to just drop some questions in there. We'll take questions too, because we want to see what you guys are thinking as well. Somebody else had asked too, and it kind of went by, but someone had asked, what about SongBird? What about Flare? What about any sort of different other integrations? Would you expect to have some integrations potentially in the future?
With Flare?
With Flare, I'm just saying, yeah, I mean, the Flare, obviously now we're doing the Canary testnet with the SongBird token, but do you guys see maybe potentially in the future, maybe some kind of integration with Flare or anybody else for that matter?
I mean, we are a Y asset on Flare, right? In order to become an F asset, there will be a requirement of more volume, more liquidity, just to engage in all of the products they offer, like DeFi loans and all that stuff. Flare needs to work on a couple of things, and we would need to see SongBird live. Are we interested to issue something on testnet? I mean, it has been stated, right? It's testnet. Mm-hmm. That means your stuff can get wiped. There's no guarantee, and you shouldn't be considered this as a production network. So my advice would be, let's wait till this goes to production. It would be unreasonable from us to say, oh yeah, that's fine, please go ahead and use it.
Makes sense, yeah. But the whole idea of testing the network is exactly that. So, it's when we have like stage and to test the heck out of it before we end up with something in production, right? Is some sort of a sandbox, or, we leverage stage and the internet side of things, and just then it ends up there. So makes a lot of sense, but we probably expect to see something potentially in the future is what it sounds like, right? There's some sort of a...
Say that again, please.
Well, I was saying that just to be a little bit more clear here, obviously the testnet, let's exclude that for now, but Flare itself, you see some sort of integration, right? As an F asset. Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're working towards.
Gotcha.
Right? Being a Y asset, first step, growing into a certain region of volume and liquidity is the next step, and then we can have a proper conversation about being an F asset.
Gotcha.
That's cool. One of the things I look at, and I've been looking through this, and we talked about this a little bit last time, Daniel, when you were with us, is really going through and understanding the use of it while you're in the casino from a casino perspective. And I'm looking, on the website, looking at it from an end user's perspective, an operator's perspective, integration of the Xumm wallet. So it seems like, one of the key points, I guess, as you're moving within a casino environment or a gaming environment is to simplify it for the user. So if you can have a user's experience moving and migrating from location to location, whether
Yeah.
it's online or in person, it's a great, easy way to have somebody move through different ecosystems, casino ecosystems. And so obviously you could engage with the phone, an app, the Xumm wallet, but you're referencing something here, which is using the Tangem cards. And to me, that might even change the dynamics even more because you don't have to worry about your mobile phone. You just use the card. Is that the objective? Maybe do some sort of an NFC scan or something like that. What's the objective with the Tangem card?
So in case people don't know what Tangem cards are, I suggest you're going to go to tangem.com and have a look on what they're exactly doing. It's a simple card for key management, right? So you can use this to authenticate or authorize a transaction. It's not a hardware wallet itself, right? So it's like a YubiKey 2FA stuff. We're gonna have some branded cards. So there will be a special edition with a CasinoCoin brand, which will be distributed by the Xumm team. We're currently in test print of this. And that's what the roadmap map is reflecting, right? The question is, I think I know where your question is going. It's like, oh, should people have some sort of device which they can use instead of their phone, like a small credit card sized thingy to initiate a transaction? That would be nice, but to be honest, people will watch their phone, not their wallet, right? This is happening to me like 5 times a week. I'm searching my wallet. I have no idea where my wallet is. I always know where my phone is. And that's what most people. So in my house, no one goes into panic mode because the house key is missing or the wallet is missing, right? People go into panic. My phone is gone. Right. So using your phone for payments is probably one of the best ideas because people do care about their phones, right? I'm not saying put $1 million in crypto on your phone. That's a bad idea. You shouldn't do that. But usually people take well more care about their phones, even if they're drunk.
There you
So
go. It's good.
that makes sense too. Then through the app, if you're engaging with the app on the phone, are you thinking of opening that up if you're going through a gaming environment to ads, engagement of ads for that gaming environment?
Say that again, please. You broke up.
No, I'm just thinking about the engagement aspect of it. So when you're working, through the ecosystem. So if it's in a in-person casino or it's online gaming or whatever it might be, I'm just trying to, visualize what the engagement would be like, from, the user's experience.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then also from the enterprise experience, working within working, with the CasinoCoin platform. So if it's a physical Tangem card, you could have the Tangem card branded to the gaming environment, casino online or in person. Maybe it's Hard Rock and you're branding the Tangem card with a Hard
Yeah.
Rock. And that's something maybe a little more exclusive. Whereas with the app, you can easily switch from casino to casino, I would think, and you're getting different types of rewards for each casino experience. But the question, I guess you can tell me if I'm off track with this at all. But then also then engaging within your app environment, having different casinos push their ads to the consumer, to the user. So if it's a Hard Rock, you know, maybe there's something special coming from the Hard Rock and they're pushing it over to the phone, to the app, somehow. I don't know. Is
I
there,
mean,
you know, here's some
that's
free money, or, you know.
yeah, that's a bit like the usual player cards, and I just looked in one of my drawers if I have some player cards here, but I already got them all boxed. But the thing is, branded cards are nice, but then you end up with the same problem we're having right now. I have like 5 different member cards from casinos on Malta, right? So I always need their card. So if you are a visitor to the island or you're a regular gambler somewhere, you always need to have those cards, right? If you want that, that's a great option. Having a card per casino is kind of annoying, I guess, if you
Cumbersome.
have like 10 of them. If this is more like a status symbol, so it's like, oh, you get this card because you are a special VIP, and this card unlocks your hotel room, and this cards do this. Not quite sure how keen venues on NFC for stuff like that. I think they use good old magnetic cards. I would need to check. I'm not quite sure about that. So that could be a thing, but I don't see them using NFC for that right now, but I could be wrong about that. However, what an option is in regards, if we talk about player onboarding between venues and we're talking about brick and mortar, which is always a different topic, what could be done is you get a QR code in our lobby that is an identification for you. When you enter the venue for the first time, you just show that QR code. They scan it, they get all the data, like all your KYC stuff. It's automatically filled up, so you can onboard a new customer to your venue in like 10 seconds, rather than have them fill out a piece of paper or hand them over a tablet and have them putting in all their data, and then people mistype their email and stuff like that. And the good thing is you already get a high quality copy of a passport, driver's license, ID, whatsoever. So I think that's where this is going. However, regulated industries, so tier 1 stuff, hard regulated places will always take some time to catch up to this, right? So we're always a couple of steps ahead. From a technical point of view, we can do this tomorrow, right? Get your front office a reader so you can read our QR code. We're going to give you a secured API so you can fetch their data. We're going to send this over. You can store this locally if the user is giving consent, which we can do easily. You can store that. You get all the data. You can just ask them to show their passport or ID or whatever, just to make sure that it's the same person. Boom, there you go. Onboarding a player in less than 60 seconds. If you ever signed up to a casino and you had to fill this out on paper, and they then type this all into their system, you know, it's like a 5 to 10 minute process. So imagine you have a busload of people coming
every
in,
time,
and your regulars as well, right? Depending on how big the place is, that's eating quite some time.
Nice. I've got some cool questions from the chat here. I'm gonna throw up there. This is Matthew Newton says, when will there ever be more exchange listings? Is it hard to compete with the Trustlines setup?
That's one of my favorite questions always. So
which one? The exchanges,
the exchange
or
question?
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, the exchange question.
Okay,
Yeah,
there's two.
we are working on exchange listings. I can't deny or confirm this, because if we would have signed an NDA in theory, I wouldn't be allowed to tell you we're working with a exchange, or let alone giving a name or timeline or whatever, because if you ever have seen one of these NDAs with some big exchanges, you know they are very specific about things you can and can't talk about, right? So if we would be working on a listing, and I would now tell you that we are working on a listing with a exchange at a specific size, and they're going to figure this out, they would probably allegedly send me a message tomorrow saying, you can't do this, you have done this, you're creating hype, that's against our NDA, we can't do this. But It's the logic conclusion. In order to get more volume and get more liquidity and onboard more people, big exchanges and better on and off ramps are required, right? That's a catch-22. So it's not like that we're thinking, oh, we got B-True and you can use the DEX. You know what? That's good enough. Right?
Gotcha. Well,
If you're looking for a date, I can't give you a date.
well, I think what I'm hearing here is that you guys have got some things in the works and you're always looking, like you said, to increase the liquidity, increase exposure, everything, right? So that sort of makes sense. And you just can't talk about what's happening. And that makes sense from an NDA standpoint. Let's take the second part of that, which is it hard to compete with the Trustline setup?
So there is a diplomatic answer to this, and there's the reality. So the diplomatic answer is no, of course not, because we are an utility token and the other stuff is NFT meme stuff. And the reality is, and if you follow specific threads on Twitter, then you will see that we are all pretty much aware of this is Trustline spamming. We know there are certain entities which can support you in setting up 30,000 Trustlines, whatever. It's absolutely unrealistic that you you push out a tweet and you have 30,000 Trustlines in less than 12 hours. Right? That's ridiculous. And if anyone thinks that's a good metric, and I know this because we used this metric before, but if I check our numbers, then I can see, look, we onboarding like 1,000 people in 30 days. That's realistic, right? This doesn't look like, oh, this is off charts. Getting 30,000 people in 12 hours, that's not realistic, right?
Right
and
on.
There are currently people looking into how to get this under control because it's a nightmare, right? And I can't advise people what to do, but if you haven't figured out, it's not free money, right?
Not at all.
Adding a trust line to a specific, and I don't want to shit talk anyone, but adding a trust line to a specific project that just tweeted, oh, we're going to do an airdrop, right, isn't free money. If you start trading your coins on the DEX, then you're taking someone else's money, which then technically makes this free money, but someone has to pay for this, right? And those projects have a pretty clear thinking. It's like, if we drop this to 30,000 people and we're just going to make 1,000 people trade this and we just get 1,000 XRP, we just earned $1,000 or whatever the current rate is, right? That's from money for little to no work, because I can set up a shitty website and a Twitter account in like 2 hours, then drop this, pay a few bucks to get the tweet spread, and throw this out and start trading on the DEX. And it's beyond me how people can't figure this out and jump on literally everything. That's why you see stuff like Squid happening on other chains, as we talked in the pre-show. So people just get rucked on Squid, and not even 24 hours later, it's back up 300%, right?
No way.
If you haven't figured this before, then I can't help you.
You know, when I think of really cool band names, you know, I was thinking about weird band names. Rugged from Squid sounds like a really badass metal band. Rugged from Squid, you know, it's like, I like that, man. It's like pretty solid right there.
But look at this chart right here, and one of the things that you're talking about, Daniel, and this is really critical, because you look at projects, and you know, and there's always, you know, some trash talking in the space, and you know, people are referencing, you know, different assets or whatever. But when you see things like this happening, then you have to be highly suspicious, whether it's penny stocks or it's happening in the crypto space. You know, like you just said, nothing is free. And you have this kind of a ramp up out of the blue from basically zero, you know, in a very short period of time. And you're talking about in, you know, here it is kind of in days, you know, but look at this. I mean, this is in 1 week, you know, end of October, it's sitting flat. But it was still trading in the dollar range, but then it shoots up. This stuff like this doesn't even happen, and then the higher it goes, so
in my
suddenly
dreams it does, Jeff.
I know, but
happens frequently when I'm thinking about charts.
when it does that,
Yeah,
you know the other side is going to be catastrophic, and you know, people are looking for that quick fix. People will FOMO into things, But I definitely appreciate your perspective on that. It's important.
Yeah, and so General B's got a question here. He's like, fantasy sports betting within CasinoCoin. Thoughts?
Hold on, my mic, my headphones just cracked. If this happening in a region where this is legal, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Right? It's a great use case. The question always is this legal in the area where this is happening? And if so, yeah, that's a great use case. So are we talking P2P or are we talking with an operator?
Well, it sounds to me saying like within CasinoCoin, so I may be just talking about within the app itself potentially, or I mean that's the way it's the question is there, but it could really be anything, right? So if there's fantasy betting, again, in a region where it's legal to do fantasy betting, whether it's football or whatever it may be, you can bet on pretty much any sport these days, right?
I mean, if there is an operator who's operating under a legal framework, definitely. If it's P2P, we can't stop you. At the current point in time, we don't have any plans to facilitate gambling on our own, which might change in the future if we would acquire a license and then split this between the payment section and everything else. So there is a possibility, but and it also depends a bit on, could we push this as an X app in Xumm, or would this be a standalone app, right? So we could probably offer some sort of lottery as a standalone app or as an X app where you can bet on chain, provably fair. But then the question is which markets would allow that. A lot of states have a monopoly on the lottery, so you can't run your private lottery, or you can't have something like this. It's always a question of, is this legal in the target market, right? If there's a target market, but this is fine, and we can drive traffic to a specific operator, and we can make sure that people that shouldn't play in that specific market can't enter, then yeah, why not? I mean, that's what this is made for.
Right on. Here's another question from none other than DM Logic. Thank you for that. He says, is the news coming out this month going to expand the expectation of CasinoCoin CSC, or going to be directly in line with the expected use case? Thanks for the show, guys.
Yes and no. So yes,
there you go.
It's in the line of the expected use case. It's probably in a way you wouldn't expect.
Oh, that's really a tease right there.
Yeah.
But let me expand on this and get in trouble with myself.
Oh my god.
The roadmap, the way it's set up right now, is incomplete. The next partnership is going to unlock several other things for Q4 and Q1 for us and themselves, and also other entities. So that's about all I can give without Daniel yelling at me later.
The plot thickens. Now we're getting into it. So let's dig deeper on this, guys. No, I know you can't really get into it, but sounds pretty exciting, because I mean, just based on that, my mind starts wandering all over. I can see Jeff starting to think about the potential, and I'm sure everybody in the chat's starting to think about that. But if somebody guesses it like between now and when it happens, do you guys like say like, wow, that's very, or is it like out of the realm of like probably even guessing, or people are just going to be way off base?
If people guess things, typically we don't tell them that they got it right.
Well, I know that. I'm not asking you for that.
We even have to be careful on Twitter with things that we like, because people that we follow, just to make sure that people don't read into every single thing that we do, because that's what they like to do. And everybody has their conspiracy theories, especially since it's, XRP and the whole 589 thing. So we try to play off that maybe a little bit.
That's okay. That's fine. But I guess the thing that kind of takeaway for me is that it's going to be something that's going to be pretty cool, but probably not what people are thinking right away. So it unlocks a bunch of future things, future proofs past 589, and roll them all into one and then smoke it or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's putting a lot of exciting stuff together in a way people probably wouldn't expect, but probably would hope for. I'm really excited about this. It's sitting on my desk, and I mentioned this in the tweet before. I mean, there are stuff we're working on all the time, right? We're working all the time on exchanges. we're working all the time on operators, working all the time on expanding the user base. So this is stuff we're doing all the time. However, we also have conversations with people that approach us. Some we meet at road shows like Apex. Others they have seen something from us on the internet, and so they approach us, be like, hey, I got this idea. We could incorporate CasinoCoin in this. What do you think? And sometimes we spend a few bucks on like research stuff, right? It's like, okay, so build your product. How much is this to do this? You need some money. We're going to give you some money to do this. Let's see how this works. And I'm pretty excited about this product because this will be pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's
And it
so-
ties
it's so
into
great.
other partnerships we're having.
Ooh, plot thickens once again.
It's really great to hear, how you're looking at, overall development, new partnerships, new rollouts, the roadmap. As you go through the roadmap on your website, there's a lot of targets in there. As Jack was just mentioning, there's other elements that aren't even on the roadmap that will come to fruition. That's exciting to really see all of that. I did want to give a quick shout out to my dad. He just logged in here. Papa Huddle says, better late than never. Hello to all. This project, I know, as I sit down and try to and explain it to him and try to really go through the elements of CasinoCoin, he spent many an hour at the blackjack table in many different areas. And he's one of those players that is, you watch him play and you wonder, how he can, go through and manage the deck the way he does. But he was right there. You could call him a professional blackjack player, one of those top players. And so when you get into that casino environment and the stories that I've heard, from my dad about, the rating system within the casinos and, the rewards they give you in the casinos, flying you out to different areas, to different casinos, putting you up in top penthouses and things like that. So that's where my brain starts churning when I start thinking about the project that you're putting together and the significance that it can bring from an enterprise level as well as from the users experience. I think there's really a lot there. And so I'm looking, even right now, I'm going through on your website and looking at the Lobby X app and the CasinoCoin Lobby. Is this something that's getting ready to go live? Or is this where are you guys at with this, and what's the overall significance of this user facing app?
Yeah, so the lobby is the core product of what we're offering, right? So that's the common ground for everything. So here's the idea: we're gonna onboard you as a user. We're gonna KYC you, so we know who you are. We put partners in the lobby because it's like a lobby, right? So let's say we onboard. I almost said the name, but let's just make one up. It's awesome crypto casino whatever.com, right? I hope that doesn't exist.
No.
They get listed in the lobby. You can tap on them, get some basic information on what they offer, get a few screenshots. You then can have, depending on the level of integration, have an easy sign up, which is you just tap one button. All the data gets pre-populated. You just pick a password. Magic happens in the background, and your sign-up button turns into a deposit button, and then you can deposit. So the next question would be, okay, why would anyone like to do this? So there are 2 points of view for this. So first of all, from a user perspective, the idea is that we have conversations with the operator, and we can offer, or the operator can offer you bonuses like bigger weekly deposit bonus, better rake back, a couple of 100 bonus spins, whatever, being a player that comes through the lobby, right? It's like, I'm going to make you a VIP player for the casino, because the casino knows you're KYC'd, and they might take that KYC data if you give consent for this data sharing. So, but let's put this aside. So you're KYC'd, you're their target audience, you're funded, you like gaming, you're ready to roll, right? From a player acquisition point of view, this makes sense. If we are 4 people in this room and a fifth one walks in and he's an operator and he can spend $5 and he doesn't know who of us is a potential gambler, he's probably wasting some money. But if he knows, if he goes to Jeff and he spends $5 on him because he's really interested, then it makes more money to invest that money into player acquisition for the right audience. So from a perspective of the user, you're getting all the benefits from the blockchain stuff, which is fast, cheap transactions, right? It's 3 to 5 seconds, depending on how fast the consensus is to get your transaction verified. Your stuff is already connected, so there is literally no way you're going to deposit in a void, like mistyping a destination tag or whatever. You're getting this great bonuses. Hopefully, that's what we negotiate as being like a lobbyist for a huge group of people, right? It's a difference walking up to someone, be like, look, I can send you 1,000 people. Please give me $5 for these people. And the operator doesn't know what he's getting versus, oh, I got this group of people, which is your target audience, right? They're gamblers. If we send them, they're going to be your customers. It's totally different. The totally different conversation. So that's what the lobby will provide in the first step.
Nice. There's a question here from Matthew Newton. He says, how does CSC compare to the Wink token, which is on the Tron network, and are both targeting the same audience?
As far as I know, Wink is also operating its own casino, right? Let me quick check that. I think it does. Let me be careful how to phrase this. So we're in conversation with a couple of people that's running stuff on the Tron platform. They're having some issues, so they're switching away from one reason or the other. It's kind of it's sharing a common idea. I don't know how many casinos accept Wink, and if they're even trying to get this out. Can't really give you, and Wink is doing more, right? We are focusing on being a payment solution and an affiliate and connecting groups. Wink is also doing DeFi stuff, being an Oracle, having an RNG, which is going some sort into the direction of like Funfair, but without developing games, as far as I know, and operating their own casino. So the question is, do I think Wink is a competitor? Of course it is, right? They have a big market cap. They have some decent volume. Do I know how many people play on the Wink Casino? Let me just quick figure this. They had a casino linked, right? Yeah, Wink.org. It's provably fair. So, and this is another thing in a conversation we had a lot. And probably some people won't believe that I'm saying this, but I liked a lot of the games Funfair did. Right, I really love them, and I like the idea. However, and I need to quick check the games before I say something stupid. Yeah, so they have provably fair games, but they also have pre-made games. The question is always, can you take it up with a casino or a supplier like Pragmatic? Right, let me just quick scroll through what they offer. I think they do, right?
So Daniel, it seems like their objective on Wink, if I'm on the right one, wink.org, it seems like they're just hosting a whole bunch of online gambling games. Is that, and it looks like you can, bet, you have dice, you have live
they also
gaming.
have slots, right? I'm just looking at the slots.
This is their gaming. So it seems like, to me, if I'm looking at it from outside, I look at their objective. It seems very they're trying to create their own ecosystem, right? And that's what they want to do. They want to attract everybody to wink.org, and that's it. It sounds like your project, you're reaching out to a much bigger element, and you're going to practical real world, which are casinos.
Yeah,
right.
So
and interacting at that level is a little bit different. Am I off about that, or is that?
Yeah, like I said, I would need to check how many casinos accept Wink token, right? And I just quick checked their games. So they do offer games like Doghouse and Sweet Bonanza. So they have good suppliers. I think it's their whole game is they are their own token. They do their own. They have their own casino, which is totally fair. I know they have a specific history, but I would just need to look more into it. I can't really tell you how much Wink is trying to push out to other places.
I think that's fair, though. I mean, you're not going to be an expert 100% in what they're doing. Just saw this question, too, from Bradley Wellington, the 40. It says, is it possible that one day CasinoCoin will be available to use the MGM Grand or any of the top Vegas casinos?
I mean, yeah, it could. It's a possibility, right? So pursuing the offline path, it's much harder than getting your traction online. But the end game would be like to show your Xumm wallet QR code boarding on in one of the Vegas casinos, and then having a way to spend your digital currency, CasinoCoin, at a ticket in, ticket out system, or directly deposit to a machine.
Got it.
I mean, that's the end game, right? But I want to be very clear. I don't see this happening in 22, right? Unless a lot of stuff, regulation and speed changes.
Gotcha. Here's another question here from DM, and Jeff, there's another one after this you can take. Daniel, is the reason everyone should have recognized CasinoCoin as a serious project for the last 3 years? No BS. He made it obvious early on, not the other two guys. So I think you know what's behind that.
Yeah, so I would love to comment on that, but I guess my legal
I
team
understand,
will
right?
slap my face if I do. So,
I think
I get the wink. So
DM just wanted to get that in there. So there
thanks,
you go. There's
DM.
that.
He's throwing a couple in there.
Yeah.
Someone
And
take a note and send him a free T-shirt. Thanks.
Here's DM again. He goes, chipping in for Jeff's next haircut. So
Thank
look
you,
at that,
DM.
Jeff. That's something that's
good.
pretty exciting, right?
Next haircut and shave. That's great. Perfect.
It's nice. Little warm towel there, Jeff. Little nice action there.
That'll cover the
just-
tip right there.
I just want to go back to this because it doesn't. I just checked all my favorite casinos and none of them is accepting Wink. So if someone finds a casino out of the Wink casino that's accepting Wink, please let me know. I need to reach out to them then.
There you go. You got to figure all that out. Nice. Very good.
Similar use case, different chain. They do more stuff. So yeah, it's never wrong to see what other people are doing, right?
Plus, Daniel, not to knock Tron, but it's built on Tron.
Yeah, I mean,
Jeff.
can I say that? So
I think Jeff just did.
I mean, yeah, it's built on Tron, right? Everyone has specific thoughts about Tron. The stuff. I mean, it's a solid product, right? They have a huge volume. If they're able to, if they're running their own casino, being their own payment solution, have a decent way to off-ramp their profits, it's a solid case, right? The question is, and I have never played at Wink Casino, can it compete with other casinos, which is something I would need to check out. And I don't see right now, are they regulated? Do they have a license? They don't have a license. Oh, they do. Windfall MV. Yeah, Curacao license. Okay, sorry about that. They have a Curacao license.
Curacao. Okay.
Yeah, probably one of the big four. So
yeah. So Daniel, here's an interesting question, and I know this is something that everybody building a project thinks about, and building a company thinks about. It's like, how long can you last? And obviously, if you never change, sometimes that's hard. You have to kind of grow with the space. But the question here from K Hut is explain how your niche is something that's going to last. That's the thing that's going to last.
Gambling.
Yeah, gambling. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, there are probably three things as old as mankind. It's sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and gambling is probably somewhere in between, right? So, people will ever gamble. I mean, even small kids are like, "Oh, I bet I can do this," right? They're probably not doing it for money, but for like gummy beers, whatever. So there will be always some form of gambling. While stuff like gambling addictions are a problem, right? It needs to be taken serious. People will always gamble, right? Whatever it will be. So gambling for fun is something that can be enjoyed if it's in a specific set of rules. I mean, it's not fun to throw all your savings add a slot.
So John Doe Crypto says, what's Jack up to these days? Jack?
Well, as the marketer, I finally get to do a bit of marketing. I've been facilitating some deals lately, and those are coming to fruition now, which is nice, and it gives me time. A lot of people like to claim that we're quiet sometimes, but we're really not. I think we talk a lot, actually. If you come to our Discord or our Twitter, you can see that we're pretty active. Some people have crazy expectations that something needs to be delivered each and every day, and that's just impossible. So I think what I'm up to these days is working on more partnerships and marketing and ramping up the marketing because the lobby's coming in this quarter. So,
Oh, nice.
Wow,
So it's heads.
exciting.
It's basically heads down. And you're actually working, right? You're actually churning stuff out, and you got a roadmap and progress, right? Putting stuff,
yeah,
keeping,
unfortunately, I have to work sometimes.
Yeah, most times, right? Probably keeping some
Yeah,
serious hours.
It's most of the time, yeah. I've seen a lot of people say that I look tired in the chat, and I actually am tired most of the time because I'm always awake. If people check my Twitter, I mean, you'll notice that I say things
You
like,
are always awake.
somebody just handed me the blog for next week at 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, they were awake and I was awake, so
Perfect.
I am a little bit tired. All the time.
JC hands you that. Yeah, I read that. The last blog post was a trip, man. I felt like I was on a trip. I was like, this is kind of cool, man. The way it was framed, and the whole kind of looking back thing. That's a really interesting way. There's always a lot of future looking forward, but to look back and see cool stuff is kind of a neat thing too. I thought that was that latest blog post, right?
Oh yeah, I do love that blog, and it happened to be a little bit polarizing, but then I think people sort of read it again and figured out what was going on.
Yeah,
which is fine. I mean, he writes things that are more complex than I do, and I try to simplify it for people. And the simplification of what he wrote is coming too, so you get it both ways. And I mean, the reality is it was simplified on the roadmap as well. So
yeah, right on.
Most people should be able to figure it out in some way or the other.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. You're talking about working a lot of hours, and before we came on the show, I was listening to a lot of little short clips with Elon Musk being interviewed by different people, and it was interesting because one of the things that he had said was that he works an average of about 100 hours a week, and he said that he shortens what he accomplishes in 4 months takes the average person a year to accomplish, work hour wise. And, he's constantly working. And when you're building something of significance, you find yourself spending more and more hours at doing it because it's a passion. It's something that you guys really, love to do, building in this space. And, it's enthusiastic, to see that kind of passion, and you're beat, tired, and spending, every waking moment and sleeping moment, thinking about, building this out and, answering, posting blogs and doing what you guys got to do. And that's outstanding. And Daniel's over here still, trying to move and living out of boxes.
Yeah, Daniel, what time is it there, by the way?
It's almost 2 a.m.
2 a.m. See, so there you go. I mean, 2 a.m. and he's like bouncing around, and it's just amazing. It's like you would almost think it was morning there. I want to throw this up. This is XRP Speedboating. So is that supposed to be Uber Allies? Is that it? Uber Ales? I'm not sure.
Uber Alice. Yeah,
Uber Alice.
That could be taken two ways. So
okay, so I don't really know where that.
I get it.
What's the nice way?
I was just saying, just share the nice way with us, would you?
No, really nice way.
Gotcha.
So here's one right here from Matt Jeffrey. How many casinos do you aim to onboard in 2022? Is there, do you have a number? Is it projected? Are you going to be onboarding next year, or do you think that there's still some more infrastructure to build out? Where would you guys put yourselves?
I mean, for 22, it should be more than 25. Right? Well, this depends back on the thing, fixing the exchange users cycle, right? And we should be good with the cycle in 21. So if we keep growing like we're growing at the current pace, that's nice. But if we could double this and get our user numbers up, And once we have the XRP out and we can produce some numbers and show some numbers, it will be easier, because right now it's just like, it's like selling an idea, right? And just, oh, look, this will be great. So having the product out will help. And then it's just talking to people and be like, look, this is how this looks like. This is what you can achieve with this. That's what we can do for you. That's what you can do for us. And then 25 should be a no-brainer.
Oh, right on. So here's another question. It says, Tim Towsley Bros says, I know the Lobby app is in closed beta right now, but will there be an open beta after, or will it just be released as a final product?
I mean, something I've learned in the past is hard launches suck, right? Soft launches are always better. What we experience right now, and we have experienced this before, is most of the issues we're dealing right now, they're just cosmetic stuff, right? Something doesn't look right. Something doesn't look right on a specific phone. From an operational point of view, it's good. It's working. It's doing what it should. We have spent a lot of time migrating from the test infrastructure to the production infrastructure, making sure it has some failover capabilities, so this stays up, right? Because it will be the bread and butter revenue stream, so this needs to be running all the time. Are we going to launch this as a 1.0? I wouldn't call it a final release. We're probably gonna figure some way of soft launching this, and then someone will spill the beans, and then probably 1,000 people would storm, and we're gonna see what happens, right? I mean, software is never finished, right?
No.
There's always a next version. However, we made sure this is solid from a usage perspective, and if you onboard with the product in the early days, you will grow along with the app. So user feedback will be very important to figure out what needs to be done.
Nice.
I mean, it's always like, I have this a lot, right? And I'm seeing this. I mean, often use my wife or my daughter for testing. So I'm looking at an app, and I'm using this for weeks, right? And it's like, oh, do the sign up, do this, press this button, do a deposit, blah blah blah. So I'm watching them while they do something, and then they tapping a button which you shouldn't tap, and then something doesn't work, and then I'm literally, why do you tap this? It doesn't make any sense. And she's like, yeah, but I just tapped it. And then I'm like, oh fuck, I didn't think about that. You're getting blind, right? So you're like, oh yeah, this is all working because you're doing this exactly the way this should be done, and that's the trap you run into real quick. So
That's great. That's really good. Hey, here's one. I know, Chip, you were getting. It's from Exposure. You guys are the best. Keep it up. Been with this project since DM Logic started talking about it years ago. So there's DM Logic again. So DM Logic, did you hear that earlier? They were going to send you a T-shirt. So
yeah, we're going to send you
He's earning it, man. He's earning the shirts tonight.
He's earning them now, yeah.
earning his keep, earning his T-shirt keep. If you keep it up, you're not going to have to worry about wardrobes. But here's from Dave Sehudin. Thanks, Chip and Jeff, for having the amazing Daniel and Quadjack's question. What would be an ideal price per CSC token in the future that would be scalable and efficient? And don't say 589. So,
Jack's gonna say
yeah.
that.
So I mean, we're not into price predictions, right? We all have numbers in our head. So what I want to see is and I think I said this before, what would be nice would be a stable floor at 1 cent. Having a couple millions or tens of millions in volume flowing through the ecosystem and being stable at a cent, with the ability of someone dropping a $1 million slot win into the market without moving the price. That's the ultimate goal, and that's where this is going to be serious and can really scale. We're still early.
Nice. Yeah, it makes sense. So Cryptic says, how would the increased price of CSC, for example, a $5 SCS affect the tokenomics of the ecosystem?
In what regards?
I don't know. That's the question. I'm not sure what's behind that.
Yeah, well, I would need to have some context. So at the end of the day, token price doesn't matter from an operational point of view, right? So it doesn't matter. So
Yeah.
If people use the product and there's a specific value to this, and operators can deal with this, and the on and off ramping works, so then it's just a number, right?
Brilliant.
So the question is in what regards? So in order to give it
Right. You got to know a little bit more regards context behind it. This one here from Matthew Newton. He says, appreciate the answers, guys. Have shared this video on Twitter to get awareness out there. Keep up the good work.
It's awesome. Appreciate
And that's what we
that.
appreciate too, because we can't do it all ourselves. I mean, this community is big and it's great, and they share everything and they rally around each other, which I think we have one of the strongest communities in crypto by a lot.
That's a big one. Loyalty for sure, no doubt. Which is really good to see.
Someone just said, and this is where we probably fall out again. So token price matters to investors, and I just want to stress this out again, right? If you're buying coins on the open market, you're not an investor. You didn't give us the money. You don't have a stake in the company, right? That's important to understand, right? While this might be important to people because they're treating this as spending their money in a certain way, it's not my core focus, right? So my core focus has to be get more people, get more operators, get more exchanges, boost up liquidity and volume. And then the ecosystem works. And Squid Game is a great example for this.
Well,
they pump the price to a ridiculous amount, right? And then the market cap was like, I don't know, like billions or trillions, right? And someone then just dropped a shitload of coins, which was worth like 3.3 million. So did the token price really matter? No, it didn't, because it didn't reflect what the ecosystem was able to eat. That's a huge difference, right? Pumping up the price to a certain extent, I mean, a lot of projects do that, right? You just get a couple of millions liquid in coins, you prop this up on the order book, people FOMO into this, you liquidate, and then that's not how this is not the ultimate goal, right? If you want to talk utility, you need to figure out how to keep the ecosystem going, not what's the next price. So there is a confusion about having an ecosystem going and getting rich overnight because you missed Bitcoin.
Right. I want to take these last two questions here. And then once we do these last two questions, we're going to wrap it up, guys, because we're conscious of your time. And Daniel, it's very late where you're at. So go ahead, Jeff.
Chip.
All right. Contact ceek.io. They would probably be interested in developing a virtual casino using CSC.
Yep.
So
I saw that already. I'm going to have a look at this.
And then the last question here. So take a look at that and see if there's something there, which is always great. Appreciate that, RJ. And then this one. Jack, you want to take that?
That one's the 589 from Gambling Savant.
589.
589. You think he gambles? Will casinos partners hold a surplus of CFC? And if so, what would be an appropriate amount or percentage based upon their operating funds? Is that something you guys can comment on?
I mean, that's depending on the operator. You obviously need a bankroll to operate this, right? And there are certain things you can operate this. So you allow a user to deposit in CSC, they're wagering in CSC, they're winning or losing in CSC, you have them cashing out in CSC, right? So if you want to build a bankroll in CasinoCoin, you obviously need to get CasinoCoin from somewhere, right? So that's number one. An option always is, and I know some casinos do this, they don't really hold a bankroll in a specific crypto. They're just sitting on a bunch of dollars or whatever their operating currency is. And if they have to pay someone out, they're just going to purchase the equivalent on the market. That's happening as well. It depends on the operator. Would I suggest an operator to have a bankroll at a specific point in time? Yeah, I probably would, right? So, and in an ideal world, and there's a specific RTP that the casino is operating overall, right? So they're building their own bankroll, and casinos are not taking all their profits and dumping them right away on the market to cash out, right? So the ones we know. So they have to cover certain operational costs like staff and operators and suppliers and all that stuff. That's what they cover. a lot of them keep building a bankroll, right? So I can't give a clear answer on what a specific casino is doing. Some people might have seen the 6-part series from CoffeeZilla, Roulette House of Cards, or no, House of Roulette. Give this a watch. We'll tell you how some casinos operating.
Nice. We have one last question, sneak it at the end. This is the last one. Dave Seodin says, Daniel, when the moving's done to the Isle of Man, what's the very first thing you have in mind to do on your first day off?
Sleep.
Can you guys define day off?
I was going to say, Jack, what was your first thing?
What was the first thing I did? I think I slept for like a couple hours when I first got here.
Nice.
Because I drove here from Michigan and it took 3 days.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, there's your vacation.
It was a bit of a nightmare.
Sleeping, having a beer.
There you go. And actually, there was one other question that was filtering through here from Jeff Thompson. He was wondering if you've reached out to the Native American casinos.
Oh, I just remember I had conversations with a couple of people back when it was during the swap or before the swap. I need to go through my communication and reach out to them because we're now in a way better position, and they are in a way better position when it comes to regulation and what they can legally do and can't do.
Right.
So I'm really keen on getting a venue that is a bit more brick and mortar and is able to build a proof of concept. Because we have stuff ready for this.
Awesome.
There's a casino about 12 minutes from my house. That's right down the street.
Why don't you drive over and just wave at
drive
them
over there, wave
on your phone.
Wave over there. It's right there, and there's a bunch of them down here, right, Jeff? I mean,
I got the other one down here off of Sterling.
Yeah, so it's right here. So there's a couple of them down here, especially in South Florida. Really all over Florida. But anyway, listen, I know we ran a little bit long, not too long, but I think it was very informative. There's a lot of great questions, which we were looking for from the community to come on in here, and I'm sure that there'll be a bunch more maybe after this on the Twitter, and Jack can look at that 24/7. And Daniel probably will say he's going to go sleep, and he'll probably get busy doing something, and then an hour later, he'll find himself sleeping. But anyway, Daniel, listen, great having you back on. Jack, great having you on for the first time, man. It was really great seeing you in person.
I'll try to get my internet fixed next time, too, because I was having a bit of trouble hearing. So.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, well, we never knew. Yeah, it was great having you on because I know we talk a lot off, on Twitter anyway, at least in a DM group. So it's great to have both of you on. Jeff, do you have anything?
No, I also want to say the same thing. Thanks for both of you guys coming on, taking your time out, sharing a little bit more insight into your project. And for all those that are out there that are brand new here, it does help if you hit the subscribe button and the bell notifier. That way we can notify you every time we go live, and that's automatic. But we do stream 6 days a week. Actually, we stream Sunday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this Saturday, I will be coming to you guys from an undisclosed location. So that'll be exciting.
It won't be disclosing it. Even on air, he won't disclose it. It'll be some secret lair, right? It's like a secret bat cave, the Jeff cave. So somewhere out there. All right, guys, hang on for a little bit. That's all we have for you guys tonight. Thank you for showing up. Really appreciate your questions. Appreciate your support as always. And we will see you very soon on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.
Have a good one. Bye.
See you guys.
Thanks. Bye.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.